my entire mission to make sure that we were able to help all of us to get to a place of making sure we have true wealth, true transfer of wealth. Raise your hand. How many of you guys have a kid? How many of you guys have somebody in your life you want to pass some wealth on to? See, you see my hands are down, right? They're all the way down. I have no kids. You beautiful people are amazing. But those of you that have someone in your life that you want to transfer wealth to, you need to understand how to be able to do that. And tonight's presentation is about one of the ways to transfer wealth. It is Black home ownership. Okay, so let me jump into a little bit. I see a whole lot of chats here. So if anybody can make sure they address anything in the chat, because I cannot see it. I want to make sure you guys see what we are about here in our founder. So be the movement. This is a series. Hopefully, most of you guys were on here on the first night, which was Tuesday evening at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard. Tonight is number 2, and we have a 4-part series. So just a little bit about our founder. I love that picture of me. Look at me. I was so skinny and cute, and I had on my nice little red. This is what I do. I had blonde hair at the time, you guys. I love it. So we have our true, I call her the matriarch of the business. This is a vision that Juavette Johansen had for all of us to partner in. And it was so very important for her to make sure that all of us came together to put this series on for you. And we're going to do this quarterly. That's our goal, to make sure that our people have a place to come to so that they are educated about becoming economically empowered. Juavette Johansen is a life insurance and real estate broker owner. She's been doing what she's done to help the Black economic empowerment for years, more than a decade. Okay. Then we have our Jill Johnson, who I think I see on the screen somewhere. Wave to everybody, Jill Johnson. Jill Johnson is a living benefits coordinator. I don't know if you know, but there are ways for people to be able to protect themselves against any living benefit. What does that mean? Terminal illness, chronic illness, critical illness. That is what Jill specializes in. You see myself there. I love who I am, and I love the empowerment of these ladies who have helped me be the best me. I am an insurance strategist. I make sure that people understand how to use insurance to the fullest of its ability. We also have our awesome Anita Ferns. Hi, niece. You see my niece is coming in to say hi to me, you guys. So I'm going to ask her to, you want to come in and say hi to the people? Because you're just going to come in. Say hi to the people since you're going to be here. Just wave to the people. You guys see my baby? We're going to kick her out in 2.2 seconds, but she's here now. So we let her come in and say hi. Go back to mommy. All right. Then we have Anita Ferns, who is our financial consultant. Anita has been in the industry of helping people understand their finances from a totally different perspective for over 10 years. And we have our Lisa McCombs, who I think is on the screen as well. Lisa is an insurance education provider. She helps people fall in love with the insurance industry. So these are our 5 founders who have, hold on, come back, don't do it. Hold on. You know, the internet works when it works. You guys see that, right? These are the 5 ladies, including myself, who have decided that it was our mission to make sure that we create Black economic empowerment. Because according to Forbes, I think it's in 2053, we will absolutely own nothing. That's a problem. That's a problem. And you guys, right now, where we are when it comes to Black home ownership, I think since it was, and Nekaya will tell you a little bit more about it as I introduce her. I think 1947, when we created a group that works specially for us, the Realtors Group, we are pretty much at the same amount of Black home ownership that we were in 1947. So we have something to do here tonight, you guys. These are our speakers that we have, our 4-part series that we have set up as the Be the Movement group. We have these 4 awesome speakers that are going to be here for, we had Tuesday with Steve Peterson. We have tonight the awesome Nekaya Carter. We have next Tuesday, Chris Horton. Okay, let me tell you guys, you're going to hear from Nekaya. You're here tonight. She's going to be fabulous. Next Tuesday, we have Chris Horton, who is going to speak about $150 million that this man has to give to Black entrepreneurs. You guys, all of us can find something that is here for us to create as a business. And he wants to give $150 million away to us, you guys. You don't understand. You gotta be here. Make sure you register for his event as well. Steve Peterson, you guys, he gave us so much great information about commercial real estate. There are some great things to own in 5 or more units, you guys. You have to get the information. Then we have, wrapping it up, our own Anita Ferns, who's going to talk to us as a financial consultant about Black Wall Street. See, my dad, my auntie, they're from Tulsa, Oklahoma. And there are some great things that happened there a long time ago with our Black Wall Street, and many of us don't know it. I'm telling you, we don't teach it in the schools. I told you I worked in the school for umpteen years. We don't learn it. We don't understand how money works. We do not understand the smart way to do money. And you're going to learn that in the last session, you guys. Just want to give a quick shout out to our partners, you guys. These are some of the people, and I'm gonna go ahead and blow it up because my eyes are, really bad. I got a couple of them sitting right here. So we have Women's Council of NARAB. I don't know if you guys even know what NARAB is. National Association of Real Estate Brokers. Realtis. We are Realtis. I am a part of NARAB as an individual who is out of Southern California. That is one of our sponsors, and Nekaya will talk a little bit more about that. We have our Oakland African American Chamber of Commerce, who represents us, our people, in our Black economic empowerment movement. Then we have America's SBDC California, Northern California Network, which will be speaking later on in our series. You guys, you don't want to miss any of this information. You really don't. You want to make sure, if you have not signed up yet for the remainder of our sessions, that you do so at BEE. I'm sorry, let me back up. Join BEE themovement.com, and make sure you guys come on for the rest of our session. So let me tell you a little bit about my friend. Okay. My friend, Nekaya Carter, is someone who I truly, I've been in this industry helping people in the financial world for almost 10 years. She's someone I met probably about 5 years ago. And when I tell you she is all about Black economic empowerment, but even more so, she's about making sure that women are getting all the information that she needs. She is the founder of Women Elevating Women, a day of health, wealth, and empowerment. She's probably had 5 sessions in the last few years. And I have to say, I've been blessed to be one of the few speakers that have been a part of every single event that she's had. We believe in true partnership, and her being able to speak to our people about Black economic empowerment is awesome. She is a motivational speaker. She's a mentor. She's a trainer. She's a football mom. I don't care about professional basketball, but she is a Clipper fan. So for those of you who are Laker fans, still love you, still give her all the attention you need to give her, but she is a diehard Clipper fan. She is the owner of Carter and Carter Investments, a mortgage and real estate broker owner. She has been taught this industry for the last 2 decades. She is very, very good at what she does. She has been a licensed real estate broker since 2007. She is a UC Berkeley alumni. Go Bears. So those of you who know about UC Berkeley, that is where she is from. She is a NARAB, National Association of Real Estate Brokers, Emerging Leader Award recipient. She's been doing her thing to help people in Black home ownership. She is also the regional vice president of KRAB, California Association of Real Estate Brokers. You guys, it is my honor, it is my pleasure to introduce my dear friend, Miss Nekaya Carter. Please come to the floor, Miss Nekaya Carter. We welcome you. Her job is to make sure we understand Black economic empowerment through real estate, owning real estate, you guys. Come on up, Miss Nekaya Carter.
Thank you all so much. I love that wonderful intro. Just to make sure you guys can see me, you guys can hear me? Solid. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for that intro. thank you for introducing us to the B movement. Like, what a powerful movement this is. I just want to just congratulate the founders, just beautiful Black women I saw out there. Like, definitely kudos to all of you. Like, this is amazing. And I'm so honored to just be a part of it. And special thanks to, yes, Ms. Conley, love you. You already know that. Yes, you have been a part. We have been partners for years now, many, many years. So again, my name is Nekaya Carter. I am from Long Beach, actually, California. I graduated from Wilson High School in Long Beach, actually went up north, like she said. I got my bachelor's degree from UC Berkeley, so yes, go Bears. Came back, got my master's degree in sport management from Cal State Long Beach, because I was in sports for a long time. However, I was like, the only people making the money are on the court. Okay, so I'm gonna have to do something else. So, but I've been in sales for so long, so then I transitioned over to real estate. I got my broker's license, believe it or not, as on the side at first. Okay, because back then you were able to get a license as long as you had a, should I say, advance to take the test, as long as you had a. Okay, I see the Wilson grad that caught my eye. That's what I'm talking about. Go Bruins. What was I saying? Oh, you can advance, right? You can advance and just take the broker exam as long as you had a college degree back in 2007. I've been licensed for about 14 years. So I did on the side for a while, and then I actually went full time about 4 to 5 years ago. Okay, so I am the broker owner of Carter & Carter Investments. My team is all women, not by choice, but hey, it's happening and it's going. So I have 5 women total that make up the Carter & Carter Investments team. Also, like she said, Women Elevating Women is like my passion, it's my heart. What we do there is we bring 15 to 16 speakers together, and we just talk about all kind of different topics, not just real estate, not just insurance, just about grief, right? We talk about co-parenting, we talk about fitness, we talk about meal prep, we talk about taxes, we talk about it all. We have fun, we have a little champagne, we have some food, we have a DJ. It's a great time. It's a great time. And I have missed it in, since this pandemic. But my core though, I really, really am very passionate about educating. I tried to put my background up. It says we educate, we elevate, we empower, but Zoom, it didn't show all the way up, but it's okay. So that's what we do. We educate, we elevate, we empower. All right, so 3 things are gonna happen, right? So I want you guys to keep these 3 things in mind. When I'm done, you're either gonna feel educated about the home buying process. You're just gonna feel educated, like, okay, I learned something at the bare minimum, right? Or you're gonna feel elevated, like, you know what, I can actually go through this home buying process. You're gonna feel like, you know what, I can actually buy a house, okay? Or the last, you're gonna feel empowered, like, you know what, I'm empowered to take that first step to actually make a call, see where I stand, and get started with the process. But bare minimum, I just hope that you at least learn something. And as I go through this process and as I talk about different things, definitely feel free to put questions in the chat, kind of let me know, if you need further clarification about, what you're like, I don't know what she's talking about. All right. So the first thing,
we're sure that we connect you to Nekaya. So whatever questions you have, put them in there. She will have access to all of them for future follow-up, immediate follow-up, because she's great at that. So feel free to post them there.
Absolutely, absolutely. So there's 4 things. I'm going to jump right into it. So it's 4 things that lenders look at, that we look at to qualify for a home. Okay. First thing is your credit. Credit, super important, right? Secondly is the monthly debts, right? So it's not just how much you owe on the entire balance of the credit card. It's what you pay, what you're obligated to pay on a monthly basis toward that debt. Okay. Third thing is your income. Obviously, you gotta make some money to purchase a home. And number 4 is your savings, right? How much money have you put aside toward the purchase of your home, right? So that's pretty kind of self-explanatory in the savings part. What I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna share my screen, if I can. Do I have permission? I do? Okay, perfect.
Yes,
so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna dive into credit, okay? I actually can't, oh, there we go. Let's see here. Can you guys see that? What do you guys see? Okay, Perfect. So you see the do's and don'ts of managing your credit. Is that what you guys see? Okay, awesome. So the first thing, so I'm just going to go through real quick, a couple of do's, couple of don'ts, especially as it relates to qualifying for a home. So number one, we want to keep the credit card balances within 25%. Okay, so example, if you have $1,000 credit card, you want to kind of keep that balance 250 or below. Lower if you can, but don't get it to zero. Because believe it or not, when you pay it to zero, it makes your credit score lower. It's the algorithms with the FICO. It's not us, I promise. But they want to make sure that you're utilizing. They're kind of testing the way you utilize your credit. So don't pay it to zero, just keep a small balance on it. Okay, but just try to keep it under that 25%. Secondly, everyone has student loans. Y'all with me or not? Yeah, y'all heard UC Berkeley, but it also came with a price, okay? So what we want to do with the student loans is we want to reduce the student loan monthly payments with one of the income-driven repayment IDR plans. IDR stands for income-driven repayment. There's another one called IBR. It stands for income-based repayment, okay? You can go to the website studentaid.gov to get more information just about those programs. But that's something you should look into, because if you do not, depending on if you go FHA or conventional, they will take 1% of your entire student loan balance. And you don't want them to do that, right? So let's say you owe $50,000 worth of student loan debt. If you're not into an IBR or a payment plan, they're going to automatically take $500 a month and count that against you and take that away from your purchase power. So you don't want them to do that. All right. So, because let's say you go into income based, they take account of your family size and, however else they calculate it, and your payment's only $250, then that's better than $500. Right. So if you have not looked at studentaid.gov or looked into one of these programs, I highly suggest that you do as far as your student loans. I know they're all deferred right now, but still, even in deferment, they still take the 1%. So still give them a call and see what they can do about that. Third, monitor your credit report annually. You get a free report from all three bureaus. Now, let me tell you this, because of the pandemic, they have allowed you to monitor your credit weekly. So all of 2020 has been weekly. So far, I believe it's through April. I'm sure it'll get extended, but I know for sure it's through April. You can check annualcreditreport.com on a weekly basis and check and monitor your credit. So definitely make sure you guys take advantage of that. And it's totally free. You will not get the score, but you will get the actual report, which is key. You want to make sure that there's no accounts that aren't yours. There's no lates that shouldn't be there. You want to make sure you stay on top, manage your own credit, pretty much, okay? The next one, you can buy a home with the middle score of 580. Now I said middle score. So when we pull credit, there's 3 scores, right? We always take that middle score, okay? So to bare minimum qualify, your score can be at 580. Okay, sometimes it fluctuates because of the pandemic, but standardly it's 580. Now you won't qualify for different programs and stuff like that until you get up to, that's why on here, ideal financing at the middle score of 680. Now, if you can get it up to 680, you will qualify for some down payment assistance programs. Okay, so the higher the credit, the more you qualify for as far as down payment assistance programs, and the lower the interest rate, right? So higher credit, lower interest rate. Lower interest rate equal lower payments, right? So you want the lowest interest rate you can get, okay? Next one, let's say you need to rebuild credit, right? Just say, some people say, Nekaya, I have no credit. What do I do to get some credit? Okay, get a secured card. You can try a secured card. You can call up the banks. A lot of credit unions have them and say, hey, I'd like to apply for a secured card. Basically, what you're going to do is you're going to take your own money, give it to the bank. They're going to keep it in a savings account, but they're going to put it on a credit card. So it'll show up on your credit on a monthly basis. And again, they're going to test the way you use it, right? All they're doing is testing, like, how does this person manage money? Does this person get a card and automatically just charge it up and only pay the minimum, or do they have some available, right? So they're testing the way you actually use the credit that you're given. So a secure card is a way to do that with your own money, okay? So that's an excellent way to start if you need to rebuild. Also, the next point, you can add to someone else's account as authorized user, and you'll gain all their credit history on that account. But just make sure it's a good one, because that could backfire, right? So make sure that that person's never been late. You could get on the phone with them on three-way and call and just kind of verify, because if they have ever been 30, 60, 90 days late, that will negatively affect you. We're trying to build here. Okay. So just be careful of that, but that is something that you can do as well. Also, we want to pay the accounts on time. Okay. I know life happens, a whole pandemic happened, right? So if that's the case, let's try to communicate with your creditors. You can work something out. You want to do whatever you can do and work out so that the negative will not hit your credit, right? And if it is going to be late, you'll get a late fee after probably the 15th or however, whatever stipulations you have with your card, but just get it paid before that 29th day. If you get it paid before the 29th day, it will not show up on your credit report, okay? As a late. It'll be late, but it won't show up. Any questions kind of so far? No, we're good. Okay, perfect. Also, we don't want to, so I'm going to go into the don'ts now. Okay, so don't add utility bills to your credit report if you already have debt. So example for that is, I had a client, you can add your electricity bill, your cell phone bill to help build your credit if you're lacking some. The problem is it shows up as debt. When we get to the lender stage, it shows up look like, oh, you pay this $150 a month, which in reality you do probably, but it's not something that would normally be calculated when you're buying a home. It's only the stuff that shows up on your credit report. So what we're gonna have to do with her is have her go and take, just like she put them all on there, she has to go back and take them off now, okay? Don't defer student loans. I kind of already explained why. Don't pay off debt before speaking with a licensed mortgage professional. You could save money. So a lot of people actually, let's see, they say, hey, you know what, Nekaya, I'm gonna apply, I'm gonna talk to you about getting pre-approved, see where I am, but I gotta pay this stuff off first. It's like they have their own plan, which is great. I'm for you having your own plan. I love that mindset, but let's talk about it. Run it by me so I can figure out, okay, well, you know what, that's like 6 years old. It's not gonna matter anyway. You might as well leave it, right? That money can go towards your down payment. Or that's a medical bill. So we can explain that and that'll be fine. You don't have to pay that, right? So it's some things that you think you may have to pay, when in reality, you do not have to pay, okay? So just kind of keep that in mind. I'm gonna talk while I'm grabbing my charger. I don't wanna go out on you guys. Next one, don't purchase a car if you plan on purchasing a home, right? So we want to actually purchase the home first. So I know we live in California, we actually need a car, but there's several people that have these huge lease car payments, right? They went and got the brand new Lexus, it's $1,100 a month, $900 a month. It's like, let's just be mindful. If your true goal is home ownership, then let's be mindful of that, when you're out like buying a car, okay? Sorry, guys. But I need power. Here we go. I'm back. Okay, next one. Don't co-sign for another automobile. Because the same thing. So not only will you have one car note, but you'll have two. So that's even more debt that they'll count against you. And all this debt just takes away from your purchasing power, right? So we want to make sure the less debt, the better. Second to last one, don't pay your revolving accounts late. I pretty much explained why, and if you do what you can do, definitely communicate. A lot of people say, you know what, I don't want to talk to them. No, I'm not going to call them. I'm just not going to pay it. And it kind of just sits there. We don't want to do that. We want to make sure we communicate, do a payment plan, because you got to keep your goal in mind. If you really, really want to build wealth, you really want to own a home, you got to have that mindset to really have that plan in motion. And last one, don't close the accounts, right? A lot of people say, I'm gonna pay it off and just close it. Pay it off, but don't close it, right? So the longer the credit history, the better. So anything on credit, I know that was a lot in a short amount of time.
Someone asked a question, Nekaya.
Yes.
If I have a car, how long to wait to get the house?
It's not about waiting, it's about your debt. So if you can afford the car payment and also get up to the amount you're qualified for, then you'll be fine. So it's not even length of time, it's about that monthly payment. And if it still, could work with your numbers. You're welcome. Was that the only question?
That was the only one so far. Oh, it says, what if you have too many credit accounts? Someone asked.
It depends. They all have balances. Do they too many? So I guess it depends if they all have balances. They all have monthly payments. Are they paid off? If they're paid off, it doesn't matter. It's all about the ones that have the balances. And then we'll calculate each, monthly debt into your, DTI. It's called debt to income ratio.
Thank you. The next one says, how early in the process should you have a professional look at your credit?
I would say as soon as you are ready to start, you have that mindset to buy the home. Like definitely just take a look, get that consultation, then we'll put you on a plan. Maybe you're not ready today. Maybe you're ready in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, right? You're going to be ready, but we got to get you ready. We got to get you there.
I love it. It also says, what if the company already closed off the account, but you're still owing?
So now it's in collection, sounds like. For that one, I would probably make a payment arrangement, but it depends on how old it is. Because you guys do know after 70 years, everything, kind of is not everything, not bankruptcies and stuff, but most of the collections and charge-offs are dropped from your credit report, right? So I guess it depends how. I would probably have to look at the account to kind of see. I was going to say another alternative is to actually call and just make payment arrangements. I had someone who's like, I'm not paying them. It's the principal. I'm like, I get it. That person made you mad. I didn't have it, but we're not going to let a $300 account keep you from your $400,000 house. So I need you to I understand you mad and you prideful, but we're going to go ahead and knock this out so we can get to the real bread. Okay. So
I'm going to ask 2 more questions and then we'll move on to your next topic because I know you have a lot. One of them is a 2-part. It says, what do you mean by reach your loan amount in respect to the car?
Reach your loan amount in respect to the car.
Something about what do you mean reach your loan amount? And then it says with the car.
Oh, when I said, okay, so let's say you're approved, because the thing is when the lenders calculate your DTI, they're going to take all your debt. So let's say you make, try to do this really quick and really, because it gets so convoluted and just be like scenario by scenario. So let's say you make $4,000 a month. Okay, $4,000 a month. Normally half. I'm gonna just use half. You can go up to 57% of your income, but I'm gonna do 50% just for this example. So some down payment programs, they won't allow you to go over 50% of your income for your house payment. So that means your house payment cannot exceed $2,000 a month. Because it's not like rent. When you go on rent, you can be check to check and you can do your thing, but not when you're getting a mortgage. They want to make sure you actually can afford it. So they'll only allow you to have a mortgage payment of $2,000. So we'll do that first. From there, we start subtracting your debts, right? So $2,000 a month is what she can afford, but guess what? She got a car note minus $500. Dang, my house note can only be $1,500. If you live in LA or even up north, God forbid, you're pretty low. You're not buying a house yet, okay? Right? So that's how it works. You find out your purchasing power. That's what I mean. So that's that 2,000, and from there, they start subtracting the debts from that. So we want to make sure the less possible is subtracted. Otherwise, you can get more income. But just in that example, that's kind of how that works. So I hope that answered the question.
I'm sure it did. You guys, I have one more of the 3 questions that are left. So the rest of you guys, you will all have access to Nekaya Carter immediately following the event. So let me ask one more that I saw posted because I said I would do 2. And okay. It says, I pay my credit off each month to a 0 balance to avoid interest. How does that work?
It's okay. I mean, that's fine. That's fine. You want to avoid the interest? I understand. You listen, I'm with you. So it's fine. Yeah, it all depends on just your whole credit as a whole, and what your kind of score is and kind of like go from there. If you're looking at down payment assistance, the rules are a little stricter. If you're conventional, it's not, so it's literally personalized scenarios pretty much. So
I love it. That's why you guys need to get your consultation with Nekaya afterwards. Okay, go ahead, Nekaya. Transition to your next part, sweetheart.
Yes. So I have one more. Let's see if you guys can see this. Can you guys see that?
My
Lovely.
will. Yes, we can. We love the will.
Your favorite. Can you see the whole thing in its entirety?
I can see the whole thing in its entirety. Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Perfect. I'm on two screens. I'm trying to be, hey, during the pandemic, I done got super technical, but I love it. Okay, so what we see here is basically the will, right? So this details the process. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start here where it says meet with a real estate professional. Then I'm gonna go around. Okay. So
And really
first
quickly,
step.
you guys don't have to write all this down. This will be given to you if you need it. So you don't have to write all of this down. Just take it in, ring up your questions, and we'll make sure you guys have this in our follow-up email as long as you're registered. Okay.
Absolutely. I'll include this and the credit worksheet as well. So meet with the real estate professional. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna talk to myself or your real estate professional, discuss it. We'll talk about what I like to do with my buyer consultations is find out what are the three things that are must-haves, right? Do you have to have an attached garage? Do you need a balcony? Do you have to have a view? Do you, whatever does it have to have a dishwasher? Does it have to have a microwave on top of the stove? Believe me, it gets real specific, right? So that's what I like to talk about. We talk about the areas, we talk about the location. So we just kind of have a conversation. From there, you get pre-approved. Okay. Pre-approval. You're gonna need paycheck stubs, your last two. You're gonna need your last two W-2s. You're gonna need your last couple of bank statements. And this is all going back to what I said, just looking at your income, looking at your savings, looking at your assets, and then the lender will pull your actual credit report, right? From there, we'll see the 3 credit scores, and then we'll actually see your debts that are reported on the credit report as well. Okay, so that's all in the pre-approval process, which is kind of what I was talking about a second ago. So that's what gets into your DTI, that's all your financials. You're gonna think, oh my goodness, they just asking me for all types of stuff. It's a process. This whole thing is a process, and you just have to trust it, right? You have to trust the people that you choose to work with, and you have to trust the actual process. Because it definitely is the process, and it can get overwhelming, especially for people their first time. Okay. Next on the wheel, we're gonna search for homes. To me, it's the fun part because I'm like, oh, we going shopping. It's great, it's fun, right? However, this market is a little different right now. It's a seller's market, okay? Which means my buyers are competing, okay? And when I say competition, I'm talking about I've been up against 45 offers for one duplex, one property, okay? So what I'm doing is just being creative with the offers now. Being creative, like, so let's say you're qualified for 600,000. In this market, I'm not taking you to $600,000 list at the listed price because we need some room to be competitive, right? So we'll probably look at the 560s and below so that we can be competitive. We'll have that $40,000 to kind of work with if needed, okay? However, sometimes my buyers don't listen. They're like, no, let's just go, right? But if they kind of take my advice, then it'll work out better that way. There's also some things you can do in the offer, lift appraisal contingencies, but I don't want to get too deep because then there'll be a lot of questions. But as we kind of go through the process and get to that point, everything will be explained. I already skipped the next one, kind of that's making an offer. So I was kind of talking about when you find your home, you're like, I want this one. That's when I go ahead and write it up. And like I said, I get creative with it, especially in this seller's market, and try to figure out what we can do to get your offer accepted. Negotiation and contract. Okay, so that means we go back and forth. Everything is negotiable in real estate. And when I say everything, I mean everything. I have a client right now. The seller wanted to just leave her purse. She's moving out of state. She just wants to leave all her stuff. I don't want to move my bed out. I don't want to move my couch. My client's like, we're in the middle of a pandemic. I don't want her stuff. I mean, it was going back and forth, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, can I just get a moving truck really quick and help this whole thing out? I'll just get a moving truck and everything will be gone and we can proceed. So when I say everything is negotiable, everything down to the nitty gritty is negotiable. So with that said, we may put an offer in, they may send back what we call a counter offer. Then we can counter them back, and then we can counter back. And then eventually, though, we come to an agreement and the offer is accepted. Once the offer is accepted, moving on to the next one, we move into something called escrow, okay? Escrow is a third party that is neutral, and they hold all the money. So the buyer never gives any money to me or the listing agent or the seller. give it straight to escrow, wire it straight into the escrow account. They handle, everything goes through them. So the title, okay, goes through them. The lender works with them to balance when it's time to close. If the buyer can contact escrow directly to get clarity on anything that's being sent, but escrow is just that neutral party. They ask for all documents, all disclosures, all contracts, and they just kind of help us during the transaction. And that's something that the buyer normally pays. That could be negotiating the contract too, but normally 50-50. Buyer pays their own escrow fees, seller pays their own as well. Moving to the final details. So 2 things that you will pay for up front, okay, as the buyer. You will pay for the inspection. It's not mandatory, but I definitely suggest all my clients get an inspection of your new home, right? This is an investment. This is a $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 property. You might want to get a $300 inspection to make sure the inspector will go underneath the house. They will go on the roof. They will do things that I will never do, okay? Because they will make sure the bones are good on the house. They're going to make sure that it's a good house and a good investment for you. All right. I've had a client get an inspection. My inspector he crawled in a small crawl space. He's like 7 feet underneath the house, and the whole house like was on stilts and it was like sloping, right? And so it was like, wow, we would have never known that. It felt fine when we were in there. But remember, when you look at a house, how long you're in that house? 5-10 minutes? You really don't really know. So it's really good to get a full home inspection, because we're there 2 to 3 hours, and they will really tell you everything about that home. Okay. The second thing is an appraisal. An appraisal determines the value of the property, right? So that's going to run you about $500 or so. That's done through the lender, but you don't want to overpay, right? So let's say the listing, especially in this market. Okay. So let's say the listing, your real life example, listing price of a property, $450. Nice townhome in Compton. Great. My client went to go see it. I want this. We're negotiating. Her max is like 6 something. Okay. So we got a lot of room to be competitive. We competed against 30 offers. She won. We got up to 530. I'm pulling the comps. Comps means I'm pulling the comparables, looking at what sold in that complex already. 425, 428, 430. I said, client, this is not going to even appraise, so we'll be fine. Okay. She was like, okay, are you sure? I'm like, I'm positive. But even if it did appraise for 530, which is not, she would still be okay because she had that room, right? So we wrote it up. We won. She got her inspection. I got the appraisal back on this particular property Tuesday. It came in at 435. 435. $100,000 less, because they're playing the game in this seller's market, right? So at this point, they have no choice but to just accept the 435. And then we actually gave them some money as well in the contract. So they're going to get an extra $13,000 from my client. So they end up with 13 over. But it was never, ever going to touch 530. But because the market we're in, that's what we had to do to actually get the offer accepted. But as you can see, it ended up coming all the way down. And that's a true real life escrow of mine right now. Where are we at on here? So closing. So once you get your inspection, once you get your appraisal, then we're gonna just finalize loan. Work with the lender, figure out, okay, what's the final things you need, what conditions need to be met. That could be something as simple as you made a deposit last week for $1,000. Where'd that money come from? Because when you begin the escrow process, you want to make sure you don't do any they definitely watch the money carefully. So any transactions that are pretty huge and they can't source it, they're going to want to know the source of it. Okay, for sure. From there, you're going to, once the loan is finalized, you will come in and sign actual loan documents, right? So you'll be somewhere at the escrow office. The notary can come to your own home as well. You'll sign actual loan documents. And then from there, we wait for it to fund. Fund means the bank actually gives the money over to escrow, and then you give the rest of your down payment and closing costs over to escrow as well. From there, the next day we record, which means at the county recorder, they have to record the grant deed that you own the property. And from there, I'm bringing keys, right? It's over, right? So you're a new homeowner, and that is pretty much the process. And I know I went through that. in about 15 minutes, but sometimes it takes 3 to 6 months. But that's this wheel is really effective with kind of summarizing it and really touching on the key points of the process. So any questions? Probably so, but I don't know if we have time.
You guys, if you do, post them in the chat for sure. We'll get a couple answered. If not, you guys, I have been working personally as a power partner with Nekaya Carter and Carter Investments for a while now. You guys, this process for buyers is not an easy process. Okay. You guys heard the whole breakdown of those of you guys who attended of commercial real estate, 5+ units. It's very important to understand all of your options in the Black economic empowerment when it comes to real estate. Residential properties, you guys, it is so very important to understand how it works. It's important for you to have a person that can walk you through it. It is not a, I will say, easy process unless you have the person that makes it easy for you. And I personally helped clients and friends of mine that I've known for 20 years. You guys, you have to be able to reach out if you feel that this is the opportunity for you. I see a couple questions pop up. One of them says, what's a good down payment amount to have? Really good question.
Yes, I'm sorry, I didn't even touch on that.
No, it's okay.
So down payment, let me just really clarify something. I'm gonna try to do this in 1 minute. So when you see no down payment, right? That's great. But guess what? You're gonna have closing costs. So no down payment could mean, it doesn't mean no money. You can't buy a house with zero money. I just really want to, because people are still promoting that to this day. Okay. So there's something called down payment. You're gonna need 3 to 3.5% for your down payment if you're just coming straight out of pocket. And then you're gonna need another probably 2.5 for closing costs. So total about 6% if you're coming just straight out your pocket. And that 6% is based on your purchase price. So if it's 400,000, 6% of 400,000. But there are some down payment assistance programs that can help with both down payment and closing costs, depending on if you qualify.
And actually, the second question was in alignment with the first question. It was pretty much the same thing. So, you guys, we will connect you to all of our speakers. There should be follow-up emails coming out on behalf of us, the BEE founders, to make sure that we are being very active in helping people with Black economic empowerment. I just want to say to my dear friend Nekaya, I really appreciate you. I know today is a very big day in your life, in your family's life. So thank you so much for being here for us. We really appreciate it. I love the knowledge. You've always been about making sure that we educate people. It is the part that I see right behind your head at the top. We are educators. It is important for us, for people to know how these things work so they can make informed decisions with the people that they choose to work with. You guys, it is a huge issue out there for Black home ownership, you guys. It is a huge issue. We don't have enough. I've been a part of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers for about 4, maybe 5 years now, right, Nekaya? And you guys, it is.
Oh, I can talk about that too. I totally forgot. I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm going to give you another second to do that. You guys, there is something to making sure that our people get property and we keep it in our families. It is the first thing that so many of us do when our families leave us property. And I've said this for many a years. When it comes to my parents, I love them to death. They love me to death. But their home is the one thing that they have left for me. And if I were to take that and say, nah, I don't want it, I'm gonna go ahead and give it up and sell it so I can get the money, I am doing a disservice to our community. So it is very important that we understand what it means to own something, you guys. It is something very important. Okay, go ahead really quickly. I'm going to give you one more question to answer, and then I'm going to ask you to speak about NAREB, our National Association of Real Estate Brokers, because that's where we met. That's what we've been a part of for, she's been multiple years. She's a regional vice president for years, and she's been a leader for me for many years in that. But let me give you the question and then give us a little bit about NAREB, and then you guys will wrap this thing up. And I really hope that you guys will reach out to Nekaya. She's Nekaya Carter for Carter and Carter Investments. I'll make sure I post her social media handles in the room, and then we'll also make sure you guys get a follow-up email. But the question was, during the pre-approval process, when you are correction checking credit, how far back do lenders base their approval when you're checking on correct your money, your credit? How far back do the lenders go? And then go ahead and lead us into talking a little bit about our NARAP.
Okay, perfect. So basically it's going to be whatever's still reporting on your credit report as far as the actual credit accounts. But if there's if there's 7 years or longer, then they should be deleted unless it's a bankruptcy or tax lien. I believe that stays for 10 years, paid tax liens. If it's unpaid tax lien, Uncle Sam doesn't play. It will be there until you pay it. Till you pay it plus 10 years, I believe. So so yeah, that's how that is done. As far as NARAB, so yes, National Association of Real Estate Brokers. So back a long time ago, the realtors would not allow Black people to become realtors, right? So with that said, 12 people, 11 men, 1 woman decided to create NARAB. So we are called Realtis. I'm definitely still a realtor though, because they have our MLS and the systems that we do use. So I am both. But yes, I am very, very adamant about being a Realtis. Since then, there are over 100 chapters in the US. Helena and I are part of Consolidated Board of Realtors, which is out of LA. So there's different affiliates. We have the Women's Council, which I see is a proud sponsor of this movement. So I was super excited to see that. But there's Women's Council chapters almost in every state as well. Okay. There's a state chapter in California because we're so big. So I am actually the regional vice president of the California state chapter. And what I pretty much do is help chapters actually grow. I have events for them and basically help them recruit other Black real estate agents in the area. Of course, it's not just Black, but primarily that's what the focus is. Okay. Currently 15. Okay. 15 Women's Council chapters. Perfect. And that's nationally. There's also another affiliate, 2 more coming. That's what I like to say. That's got to be a fellow realtist for sure. It has to be. Absolutely. So yes, no, I'm very excited to be a realtist. I have networked, I have partnered with, I have worked with. One transaction, it was all realtors, and it was amazing. It really helps when you're actually out in the field as well, and you actually see the person. Oh, that's the listing agent. Oh, that person's a realtist. Remember I said about competition in the market? That actually helps for us to be a part of this organization, right? So it's just been an experience. I have lifelong friends for sure. And it's definitely just a great, and our mantra is Black home ownership matters, right? Black home ownership matters. So the goal is to put 2 million Black homeowners in homes in 5 years. And we're on a mission to do that all across the US. So definitely proud realtors. And I love that my realtors family is definitely a part of this whole movement for sure.
Nekaya Carter, I really appreciate you, my dear friend. Thank you so much for being a part of our B series, you guys. This is number 2. I'm going to share my screen one more time to make sure that everyone is able to see where we should be registering for sessions number 3 and number 4. Joinbethemovement.com. We have 2 more very dynamic speakers coming up. If you have some sort of Black business that you are a part of, you want to be here for Chris Horton next Tuesday at 6 p.m. on the dot. He has $150 million for Black entrepreneurs, you guys. You want to be here for the question and answer session for him. And then we have our awesome co-founder, Miss Anita Ferns, that is going to be here to speak about Black Wall Street and how money works. You guys, you have to understand, does no good to build economic empowerment for our people if we don't know how to make sure that we keep it. See, it's one thing to make it, but it's another thing to keep it. And so you have to understand how to keep the money generating over and over and over in your community. So you want to be here for all 4 series. So for those of you who have been here for 2 so far, or you joined 1, we really appreciate you. I see a few of my founders on the screen. You guys, I love you. Nekaya, I love you. I thank you so very much. We will make sure you guys get the follow-up information for Nekaya Carter, the mortgage and real estate broker from Carter and Carter Investments, as well as C. Peterson. If you haven't received it yet, you guys have a wonderful, I'm going to tell you like Tabitha Brown, who is my new favorite person on social media. You guys have an amazing day. And if you can, honey, do not go messing up nobody else's. I love you all. Have a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous Thursday. I love you all. Have a great rest of your evening, you guys.